Hey guys, Jared here, and today we're going to compare some classic mice from Logitech, the MX Revolution, MX Performance, and the MX Master. How have things changed, and have they improved over time? Let's find out. For this video, we'll start with the oldest model first, and work our way through to the newest so that we can get a good idea of how things have changed as time has passed. First up, the Logitech MX Revolution. I can't even remember when I purchased this mouse, many years ago now, and it's still going strong. One of the good features included the hyper-fast scroll. By simply pressing down the scroll wheel itself, you're able to scroll through long pages extremely fast rather than being stuck with the ratcheted click-to-click movement. Unfortunately, this means that you give up the scroll wheel middle click button, which I do actually use. Behind the scroll wheel was a search shortcut button, which would take you to the search bar if you had a browser window focused, or open the search menu from the start menu in Windows, for example. I never really used it. This was my first mouse with back and forward buttons, and this was an awesome feature to finally have. It made browsing so much faster and easier. There was also a scroll wheel on the left that could be used to switch between open applications, which again I didn't really use too often. Unfortunately, over time some of the rubber on the sides began to rub off, though nothing too bad. The USB receiver was also quite large with this generation of mouse, as I assume the technology just wasn't as good at that time. Another downside is that you can't use the mouse while charging. It came with a dock that you had to plug into a wall outlet to charge from. However, the internal battery actually charged fairly fast and lasted for a very long time. The problem was that you needed to keep a spare mouse around if you weren't able to wait for a few minutes of charging to get back up and running again. This mouse also gave me my first and currently only experience with Logitech support. After it was no longer supported, a member of my family somehow managed to snap the large USB receiver, which I was not able to fix or find a replacement for my exact model. Despite this, after contacting Logitech, they were able to send me one completely free, which was awesome. I'll never forget how happy I was to be able to use that mouse again. After the MX Revolution came the MX Performance, which improved most things but also went backwards on some others. Firstly, I really liked that I no longer had to push in the scroll wheel in order to unlock the hyperfast scroll. This was done by pressing the dedicated button behind the scroll wheel. While this was an improvement, I also found it reduced how often I actually bothered to put it into hyperfast scroll mode. This is also where the gesture button made its first appearance as an extra thumb button, allowing you to perform even more functions through the mouse. Charging was improved with a micro USB port, which meant that the mouse could now be charged while using it. However, an external rechargeable AA battery was used, which would warm up a bit during charging, and in my opinion did not last as long as I was used to with the MX Revolution. The added bonus here is that you could optionally swap in a fully charged battery and be back to a full charge straight away. The USB receiver also shrunk significantly in size, making breaking it much less likely. Unfortunately, in this generation, the side scroll wheel disappeared. I never found myself using the new zoom button that appeared under the back and forward buttons, and over time I found the rubber would come off of the mouse extremely easily, to the point where I would have it stuck to my fingernails even after washing my hands, and days later without using it. That stuff just got everywhere. Finally, after the MX Performance came the MX Master Mouse, which is currently the latest iteration from Logitech. I've done a full review on the MX Master Mouse if you're interested. See the link in the video description for full details. A lot of good features from the MX Performance came over, including the tiny wireless receiver and being able to charge while using the mouse. The battery was also changed to a non-removable internal battery, which I think is better. It lasts a lot longer than the MX Performance and it doesn't warm up while charging. This version also introduces Bluetooth connectivity to up to 3 devices, which is useful if you want to sync the mouse to a laptop and use it on multiple machines, or even if you just don't want to waste a whole USB port for the included receiver, as these are hard to come by on some laptops. The scroll wheel is also a lot better, possibly perfect. The button behind the scroll wheel is still there, allowing you to manually swap between click-to-click ratcheted movement and hyperfast scroll mode. However, if you simply scroll the wheel fast enough, it will automatically engage hyperfast mode, and then automatically swap back when it slows down. This is awesome, as I actually found myself using it all the time, as it was so quick and easy to use. The scroll wheel also functions as a middle click button. Excellent. I was also happy to see an improved thumb scroll back from the Revolution. Here you can continually scroll left and right with your thumb, whereas the Revolution only allowed you to scroll through open applications, which wasn't as useful. The materials on the scroll wheel also just feel better, though that may simply be because I've not worn it down enough yet. At first I thought that the back and forward buttons were in a weird position, however I was wrong. They're definitely better now that I've gotten used to them. They're located closer to where your thumbs rest at idle, so they're easy to get to. Though it's a little odd that the forward button is smaller than the back button, which can make it a little harder to press at times. After using the MX Master for some time and swapping back to the MX Performance, it just felt wrong. The MX Master is a lot nicer to hold and use. It just fits in my hand better. I like the textured surface around the sides of the mouse, which should mean I won't have rubber deteriorating and falling off everywhere over time. I was happy to see the absence of the Logitech logo on the back of the mouse. I noticed that this rubbed off very fast on my Revolution and performance, as it was essentially right where you rest your palm. I don't even think you can see it on one of my mice anymore. So far, after a few months of use, I don't really have any downsides, other than the clicks seem to be a little louder than what I'm used to. But that really isn't a big deal at all. I guess it goes to show how far things have come if that's my biggest concern. So in conclusion, I really like that there's a similar design element through all of these generations of mice. It's also obvious that Logitech have improved their mice significantly over time by adding new features and perfecting existing ones. While all of these mice are great, and I've used them all for quite some time, the MX Master is easily by far the best, and I definitely recommend looking into it if you're currently looking at a new mouse. While I'm sure the sensor has improved over time, I don't use it for any hardcore gaming or anything that would require me to constantly perform precise and fast movements, so I can't really say for sure that I've noticed it get better. With that said, the tracking has always been excellent throughout all 3 generations of mouse. I've had no problems at all. So have you guys used any of these mice before? Which are your favorites? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos like this one.